amazing artists! Today we're going to learn about balance, a design principle used by artists and designers to organize the elements of art in a way that seems pleasing to your eye. We're going to look at Gee's Bend quilts for inspiration and learn how the quilt makers used balance in their work. Gee's Bend is a small black community in Alabama surrounded on three sides by the Alabama River. Most of Gee's Bend residents are descendants of slaves and for several generations worked the fields belonging to the Petway Plantation. The women of Gee's Bend have made hundreds of quilt masterpieces from the early 1920s to today. Quilts are bed coverings made from 3 layers of fabric: the top, the middle, and the back. The top layer is made from different pieces of fabric in different shapes and colors and can be arranged in a variety of ways to create beautiful compositions. When the 3 layers, or quilt sandwich, are stitched together, this process is called quilting. The quilts of Gee's Bend are very important to the textile and art history in the United States. They were originally made for warmth because many of their houses did not have heat. Over time, around 120 different women have contributed to the making of a Gee's Bend quilt, and they have passed down the art from generation to generation. When making a Gee's Bend quilt, the women start with basic shapes or forms. Then they create unexpected patterns with unusual colors and surprising rhythms. The women call this style of quilts "my way" because they are not trying to fit a mold or a pre-selected pattern. The women let their artistic voice guide them through the process. The geometric shapes, uneven lines, imperfect stitching, and colorways create a beautiful work of art. Gee's Bend quilts are designed with balance. When you look at them, they feel right, stable, nothing looks off, and it pleases our eyes to look at them. Although there might be some areas that draw your attention more than others, the quilts arrange shape and color in a way that makes the entire piece interesting to look at. When a composition is not balanced, parts of your artwork draw your attention more than others. There are several ways to balance a composition. Symmetrical balance happens when you arrange the elements of art equally on both sides of the artwork. If you were to draw a line down the center of Loretta Petway's quilt, you will notice that the left and right sides of her quilt are the same, or reflections of one another. However, look at Emma Petway's quilt and notice it does not have a symmetrical balance. Instead, it has an asymmetrical balance. This means that if you were to draw a line down the middle of her quilt, the left side is not identical to the right side. Loretta Petway uses asymmetry in her quilts made out of work clothes or recycled jeans. Even though the right and left sides are not the same, they are still balanced. Quilters use asymmetrical and symmetrical designs to create balance on their quilt designs. For many years, Gee's Bend quilts have been transforming useless material like fabric scraps and used clothes into amazing works of textile art. Now the quilts of Gee's Bend have been shown all over the world, from museum to museum. Through their quilts, the women at Gee's Bend can tell their stories through textile art. Castor Petway said, "When people look at my work, they know me, the person that I am." Drawing prompt. Open your notebook to a blank spread. On each page, draw 2 squares. Each square takes up about half of the page. You can freehand draw them or use a ruler. You will create symmetrical and asymmetrical designs inspired by the quilts of Gee's Bend. On the left page, use your pencil to draw 2 examples of symmetrical designs inside each of the squares. Create geometric compositions that, when split down the middle, are the same on both sides of the square. On the right page, use your pencil to draw 2 examples of asymmetrical designs inside each of the squares. Create geometric compositions that, when split down the middle, are not the same on both sides of the square, but still feel balanced. Color each square using 2 colors. Now you have 4 balanced compositions inspired by the quilts of Gee's Bend.